Into them a little bit at half time, tell a few home truths, and the reaction was fantastic. Second half, we conceded probably a little bit against the run of play, but we didn't feel sorry for ourselves. We continued to show character and belief, and we finished the stronger team.
In quite a few spells of the game, I think it was the best performance since I arrived. In the first half hour, we completely dominated and controlled the game on the ball. But again, after being 2-0 up, when you give away and throw away 2 valuable points, it almost feels like a defeat.
I think overall the game was good. But when you don't get the 3 points in this kind of games, there you are 2-0 up is always disappointing.
Jacob, congratulations. I mean, firstly on your goal, that was the platform for the comeback, wasn't it? Great finish.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think I've scored 3 goals in the Prem now, both away. So to get my first Villa Park goal, that's what dreams my idea.
Obviously, Philippe Coutinho is going to be the story of the day. What's it been like the sort of 3 days he's been around?
I grew up watching him when he was at Liverpool, at Barcelona. So when he got announced as a young lad, you're excited, confidence goes through the roof. You want to be playing with the sort of players like his name.
We've brought a quality footballer to the club. We need to get him up to speed in terms of his match sharpness, but he showed great bravery. You know, he could have been worried about the post or a collision there. He's quality, he can score goals, he can create goals, and he's lifted everyone since his arrival.
Yeah, no question about that. Immediate impact. We'll come to Coutinho shortly. A curious game in many ways. United looked very likely winners, didn't they? Much of the game, and it was Bruno Fernandes back to his best.
Yeah, it was Bruno Fernandes of last season. He really was back to somewhat what he was his best. He just dictated the game. Gets a little bit lucky here, but you know, if you don't shoot, you don't score. Keep him in some space. But it is. But I just like the way he was dictating the game. He played in midfield. He popped up in a 10 role. He popped up deeper in the 6 role, just ticking things over. Always looking forward. He was organising as well. You know, a couple of young players out there today, especially Elangu, I thought had a really good game. Greenwood on the other side as well. But with all the talk of Ronaldo, Ronaldo obviously didn't play today, I really think that he was the main man today. And he stepped up, didn't get one, but here's his second, making runs into the box.
Do you think he's better without Ronaldo?
I think it's hard to say that, but I think he takes more responsibility when Ronaldo's up there. I think that is the difference. And this is what we want to see. You know, he is. And look at that. You know, the goal return since he came to Man United, only Salah and Kane have scored more. Yeah. And people are saying he's not good enough for this Man United team. Yeah. He's more than capable.
And he's better in that position where he played today, I think.
Yeah, Coutinho, what a wonderful start for him.
Yeah, well done to him, well done to Steven Gerrard. They had to gamble a little bit. The second half, they were a lot better. You're looking for players to come on and make an impact, and Coutinho definitely did that. You could tell that whenever a Villa player got the ball, they were looking for him, and he didn't disappoint. His touch and his technique we know about. Just gets in the way of each other there. Him and Ramsey, and they look as if they've already struck up a decent relationship. A little bit of luck there. It's Fred that puts it into Ramsey's path there, but he finishes it off superbly well, and this is his goal. Ramsey makes a good run. Can he find him across that far post? Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant cross and a very good run and a superb finish. But we know he's a quality player. Very good signing for Aston Villa.
Yeah, let's clear something up quickly. There's talk after the game from some Manchester United fans about a stamp on Bruno by Douglas Luiz. You think there's anything in this? In normal speed, it doesn't look too... I mean, he's just accidental.
No, it looks like accidental to me.
One of those that in slow motion can look bad.
It always looks worse in slow motion. I mean, where's he supposed to put his foot there?
Yeah.
He's trying to run and get on with the game.
Agreed. Not guilty. 3 games still to come.
Oh, what a special moment for both Coutinho and Ramsey, who scored the goals for Aston Villa today. And you get the feeling if Villa had started off a bit brighter, they might have got something from this.
Yeah, that's what Stevie Gerrard was saying. He had to say a few home truths at half-time, and Ralph Rangnick was saying they didn't have a shot in the first half. But Man United didn't really do anything for me that was impressing themselves on Villa. I thought Villa, like Steve Gerrard said, just started very poorly. And what I've noticed with Manchester United is if you can get hold of the ball in the midfield, because Man United's midfield, they're not very progressive with the ball and they've got unbelievable forwards. you're going to be able to break Man United down at some stage, and you will be able to get back into games like this.
Yeah, no doubt. They'll be bitterly disappointed to have gone 2-0 up and to have not been able to hold on to that lead.
Yeah, I mean, it just shouldn't happen. You know, you think about a team, for last season they finished second, brought in Cristiano Ronaldo to take the next step to go and win the league. They're 24 points behind the leaders, 24 points in January. I mean, that is quite remarkable. 2-0 up, you got to kill that game off. You just have to. And obviously, they're missing a few key players, and McTominay didn't play, so they didn't really have the options in there. Pogba, I think they need to get him back into the side somehow, maybe get a bit more control. You know, if you've got Pogba, if you've got Bruno, maybe you can get a bit more control. No Ronaldo, obviously, through the injury. So hugely disappointing for United, because Villa were terrible in that first half. And that's why United took the lead. A couple of mistakes, which they punished. But as soon as Villa put a bit of pressure on United, you know, that Ralph spoke about control in his first press comment. They don't really have control in many of the games when you watch them. Villa have more possession, more shots. So I think it's a worry for United where they are, because it doesn't seem to be changing, regardless who the manager is.
Yeah, and as you said, the momentum was with Man United because they went ahead so early, courtesy of a big mistake from Martinez here.
It was a big mistake from Martinez, and again, you know, this is why it was very confusing for me when Ralph Rangnick saying that, you know, they control. He was happy with the way they played in the first half. I think that Villa didn't press them. They didn't put them under any kind of pressure, and they still didn't create enough. For me, it was quite fortunate there that Mings drops in, and even more fortunate that Emi Martinez drops it in the goal for them. And they go 1-0 up, and you're thinking, you just want Man United to then get on the ball and start passing it around, getting Greenwood in the game, getting Cavani in on the game, but they didn't do it.
Well, Martinez makes the first mistake, obviously, with the first goal. And this, in possession, you know, it's just careless. And it's a fantastic finish from Bruno, who hasn't had the numbers that we'd expect there. But Villa didn't have any width in that first half. So really, this ball should just go up the line to Watkins, make the run in there. Sanson comes short to receive it. He shouldn't. You know, that's not his job. He needs to be in. And then it's a counter-attack because there's nothing on. Turnover of possession. Mings, can you get out? Or maybe show him down that right-hand side instead. Lets him come inside, just... And it's a fantastic finish from Bruno. You think at 2-0, righty, that should be game over.
And the thing with it is...
Finish from Bruno. You think at 2-0, righty, that should be game over.
And the thing with it is that, you see with Man United, they've got such good players that they just need control of midfield, because what will happen with Man United is that you can see they can break, they can close people down, you can get people running from midfield, and you can punish teams. But they do not have control of midfield, and I'm tired of saying it. People must be tired of hearing me saying it. So how are they going to keep people off them? How are they going to control the tempo of the game? How are they going to bring Aston Villa out so as they can get in the spaces that Aston Villa then have to take chances to try and get the ball off of them? They're not going to do that until they sign a midfielder who can control the game for them.
We're talking about signing midfielders. Well, Steven Gerrard has brought in Coutinho, and I think we were all wondering what Coutinho we were going to see, right? Because
such as 2-0 when he's coming on.
Yeah, exactly. And also, we know he didn't have a good time at Barcelona. It was really underwhelming, considering he was the star of the show, really, 4 years ago in the Premier League. But he's back, and he played a part in this goal.
He did. And you know what? They got a bit more width. And because they got a bit more width, that leaves little pockets of space for Coutinho to operate in those little pockets. Because they didn't have any width, you know, it didn't allow these things to happen. I thought Ramsey was fantastic. Coutinho getting on of it. Huge for him as a player. He's only 29. He's got plenty of football left. These fans are going to absolutely love him. And I think he's going to be perfect there with Stevie G. Got some good attacking players. Just get him on the ball, let him find some pockets. But that's a huge first step for him.
Yeah, absolutely. You always feel he needs the right manager to bring the best out of him, and nobody knows him better than Steven Gerrard.
Exactly. The thing is, you see what's happened to him, because when he was here, he was magnificent. Went to Barcelona, needs some love. He's come back here. I think he's going to get some love, especially when you start like that. And he's got someone like Stevie Gerrard who will look after him. And he's got that young energy. Chukwuemeka around him. He's got Jacob Ramsey around him. He's got players that will look up to him and adore him. And he's going to obviously bring them up to a certain level as well. It's very exciting at Villa at the minute.
Yeah, and also we've got to mention Ramsey because he scored his first goal at Villa Park. Special moment for him.
Very special moment for him. You mentioned, you know, going through the academy, that whole end singing for him scoring that goal. And the thing about it is that being a youngster, what that meant to him, but all he wanted to do was get the ball to go back to the centre circle to try and see if they could get something else. And that showed the kind of attitude and the kind of personality we're dealing with. He's not kind of like harbouring on the fact that, I've scored my first goal. He just wants to win the game. It's a great attitude to have.
As for Manchester United, under Ralph Rangnick, look, they've only lost one game, which normally would be not a bad record. But when you look at that, Owen, is it really good enough?
No, definitely not. I mean, I'll be honest, the only game where I thought they played really well was the Palace one. Young boys, you should beat them. That's a draw. Norwich, that wasn't a great performance in itself. Newcastle, that wasn't any good. Burnley, that was never a 3-1 game, even though the scoreline says it was. Wolves was no good. Villa, they could have easily lost that in the Cup, and today wasn't amazing. So you'd have to say, on all those fixtures, they should win all those games on paper, regardless of who the manager is. So think about that. When they start playing some of the top teams in the league, like Villa just went through a spell where we played a lot of top teams, City and Liverpool. United aren't winning games against the teams that are right at the bottom. What's going to happen when they're playing the top teams? So they're just going to have to be patient. There's a lot of work to do there at United. They've got to sort so many issues out.
Well, Joseph, what a party.
Yeah, it was a great victory for the players, the fans, and everyone.
What do you think about your performance?
I think it was good, and each game it keeps getting better.
We need this match, no, with 3 goals.
Yeah, it was really great because we fought hard for this victory, and everyone deserved to be happy.
Bueno, es el mejor partido de la temporada en lo que va de Liga, ¿no?
No sé si el mejor, pero sí el que hemos sabido jugar con el marcador a nuestro favor, que nos estaba costando mucho. Y sobre todo felices por ganar en casa, porque nos estaba costando muchísimo. Desde que hay público en el estadio solo habíamos ganado un partido de no sé cuántos. O sea que hoy el partido creo que era fundamental porque nos ponemos también a 3 puntos del Español, que es un rival directo, para alejarnos de abajo, para irnos tranquilos de vacaciones y pensar en lo que viene.
Con el partido contra el Valencia también nos ponemos por delante, pero el Chacho se quejaba, ¿no? Un poco que nos había faltado controlar el partido. Hoy es lo que tú dices, ¿no? Se ha conseguido.
Bueno, sobre todo hoy no hemos tenido errores individuales que nos pagaron contra el Valencia. Creo que es un partido para sacar conclusiones positivas. Hemos vuelto a ganar en casa, tenemos que hacernos fuertes aquí de lo que queda de temporada, porque fuera de casa sí el equipo está respondiendo bien y tenemos que seguir esta línea.
Cuéntame el gol, ¿no? Porque ha sido una jugada rápida, pero cuando te ha llegado ha sido como mucha pausa, las pican. ¿Cómo ha sido?
Bueno, recibo de Hugo, controlo y normalmente Diego López suele salir a tapar. Veo muchos partidos y Diego López en los 1 para 1 suele salir a tapar, entonces yo controlo y él no ve lo que voy a hacer, entonces intento picársela un poquito y cruzársela con tranquilidad.
¿Cómo ya tocaba?
Tocaba, pero ahora mismo sentimos una alegría inmensa, ya no solo por el partido, sino estamos trabajando como el que más, estamos en el día a día muy sacrificados, con los pies en la tierra, con humildad, y al final somos una piña y hoy nos lo merecíamos y se lo merecía también la afición, que pues mira, no estamos ganando, no nos están saliendo los partidos en casa y aún así la afición cree en nosotros, nos apoya y nos transmite el cariño día a día.
Eso te iba a decir, has dicho que sois una piña equipo, pero la afición también, hemos visto ese momento tan bonito ahí en la esquina.
Sí, sabemos que le debemos mucho a esta afición, no solo de esta temporada, sino que por desgracia hemos vivido un par de temporadas muy jodidas sobre todo a nivel mental, muy difíciles de sacar, y las hemos sacado esas temporadas gracias al apoyo de ellos. En otra situación, en otro equipo, la afición lo dejaría de lado, y aquí cuanto peor iban las cosas, más estaban con uno y con el equipo. Y eso es de agradecer y se lo agradeceremos hoy, mañana y en un futuro.
En lo personal, vuelves después de varias semanas que parecía que sí, pero al final no, 90 minutos con asistencia.
La verdad que bueno, no estoy al 100%, pero creo que he podido ayudar al equipo. Venía de mucho tiempo parado, unos problemas que no se me daban ido. Entrenaba, tenía que volver a parar, volví a aparecer, volví a parar. Bueno, espero que ahora sea el fin de esta lesión del carajo, porque ya estoy frito, y que pueda ayudar y contribuir al equipo.
Saca 2001, 2022...
por el 2022 a tope. Tenemos que seguir con los pies en la tierra, saber quiénes somos, de dónde venimos, y con esta afición, con el equipo, con el compañerismo y el sacrificio. No quiero ser pesado, pero creo que son las claves para mirar hacia adelante en un futuro.
Gracias, Hugo.
Gracias a vosotros.
Gracias, Hugo.